Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Real Film Nerds Podcast. My name is Matt. I'm one of your two hosts, and I'm an alcoholic. Wait, wrong meeting. With me, as always, my good buddy, also an alcoholic, Mysterious Mike Talent.
Hey everybody. Man, I don't know if I'm alcoholic. I would say craft beer enthusiast.
IPA drunkard.
All right, man. I'll take IPA drunkard.
Well, you know, Mike, as the old saying goes, neither of us are alcoholics because we don't go to meetings. This is our weekly meeting, recording a podcast.
It is our weekly meeting. I guess, are we supposed to, I don't know. I guess we just tell stories about how we were real close to not watching movies, but then we did.
Okay, I'll go with that. How we are still standing outside of the movie theaters waiting for them to open, even though they're not.
Yes, I liken it to some of those old commercials for Black Friday where you're just looking in the window and you're just like, open, 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 open.
Yeah, who was it that did that? Was that JCPenney?
I don't know. It could be JC. I don't know, man.
It was one of the department stores. It was like Dillard's or JCPenney's or Sears or something like that. Which they're all doing wonderful now.
Oh, yeah. JCPenney's filed for bankruptcy. Doing great. Closing several stores.
Right after they gave all their CEOs a nice, bump.
Well, Matt, you know how it is, man. The top, you got to get your parachute, and it's got to be covered in giant amounts of gold.
Clearly. It's got to be a 300-foot long golden parachute. Yeah.
I was reading about, I don't even remember which CEO it was, but one of these CEOs was retiring, and he was going to get $274,000 a month the rest of his life.
I mean, how do you even live on that? I mean, I know.
It's really hard, man. Really hard.
He's going to have to drive the same car at least 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah, like he's only going to be able to have maybe like 3 to 4 cars. Cuz you can't have 7 cars for each day of the week. Like that's just not enough.
Well, it's probably more like airplanes, but yeah.
Yeah. And, you're probably going to have to cut back his private jet to like only 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Now, do they just go down in numbers? He goes from like a G6 to like a G4?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
He just gets a lower number Gulfstream.
Yeah, I don't even remember which CEO was, so sorry about that. But I just remember reading it. I was like, man, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd be okay with half of that for a year, let alone that much for a month. I mean, seriously, half of that a year would be life-changing money for me. But, one of these days, Mike, we'll make it big and we'll be celebrities and everybody will just love us.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Very true.
So, Mike,
you got to believe it, Matt.
So, Mike, speaking about celebrities, why don't we talk about one for Real Film Nerds Podcast episode 171? Mike liked to refer to it in our last pod as Extinction, but it is Extraction, starring Thor, a.k.a. Chris Hemsworth.
Yes. So, this MCU, Matt, is going to be really challenging, but I'm going to let people wait.
It's a tough one. I mean, I don't know anyone in this movie that starred in the MCU whatsoever in just about all of the MCU movies. I mean, no clue.
Yeah, it's a nail biter. It's a nail biter. So, Matt, do you just want me to go ahead and do the rundown?
Hell yeah, I do.
All right, so this is Extraction. This movie was directed by Sam Hargrove, written by Joe Russo, and from the story, Andy Parks, Joe Russo and Anthony Russo. It's starring Chris Hemsworth, Byron Lurum, Ryder Lurum. I'm going to mess this name up, Matt. Harshish, Jolly Swal, Ovi Mahajan. Yeah, I'm sure I screwed that up.
Oh, no, I think you nailed it. You just killed it, Mike.
And this movie is about Tyler Rake, a fearless black market mercenary, embarks on the most deadly extraction of his career when he's enlisted to rescue the kidnapped son of an imprisoned international crime lord.
All right, Mike, first impressions.
This is pretty cool. Decent action. The story has been, somewhat done before. I mean, it's been done many times, but it was entertaining.
The story is absolute trash. It's not horrible, but it's not great. It, like you were saying, it's been done before. It's just done in a different location, and instead of, a good person's son being kidnapped, it is a bad person's son being kidnapped. There's lots of elements of lots of other films that were a lot more successful than this one in my book. But the action is quite incredible. I talked about it on the radio this morning. I really, really loved the scene with the car chase. And I know we've talked about car chase scenes a lot recently. Rhythm Section had a really good one. And this one had a lot of those same elements in it, but on a whole nother level. It was Rhythm Section-esque, but better.
Yeah, it was a really good car scene. Yeah.
Well, there's a YouTube video. I talked about it a little bit earlier today. There's a YouTube video out there where I'm not sure if it was the director or if it was the director of photography or just a camera guy. It was someone higher up than just a camera operator. Literally strapped themselves to the hood of a car to get a lot of those scenes where they're chasing the car, Chris Hemsworth's car. And that's dedication. Like, not like, building a car, a camera car or anything like that. Like, straight up just strapped himself to the hood of a car.
Well, I think with where they were shooting, the narrow streets and all that stuff, like, I don't think the options were there to do some of the maybe more traditional American type style car chase scenes. So, yeah, that was real creative, and it looked great.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic how they went from being in the car to outside the car to, I mean, it was very, very fluid. It was almost 1917 kind of esque in a way,
Oh yeah, with like kind of the single like shot almost, yeah,
right.
Like, and I know there's some sort of transition. It was so well done,
right? It was by far my favorite scene in this whole film, but the action was good. The acting was fine. I don't think there was any like standout acting, but I don't think there was anything that was really awful either. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed hearing Chris Hemsworth actually speak his native accent, like not on like so he was actually just using Australian. He was Australian mercenary, I guess. I mean, they didn't really explain much, and they didn't have to, but it was cool to hear. I mean, not that he talked a lot in this movie, but some of his words in it were pretty good. And what'd you think of Hopper in this?
He had a small part, and he got taken out pretty quick. It was predictable how he was taken out, but
yeah, it was. I didn't expect him to see him in it.
Yeah, no, neither did I. I didn't expect it because he's not in. I don't think he's in any of the trailers or anything really. They didn't really promote him a whole lot. I wonder if he's just in here because of his ties with Stranger Things. But he kind of played a more Hopper-esque character in a way because he was a little bit comedic, but he was also kind of offensive at the same time. And he was also kind of aggressive, which is not really Hopper at all. So,
yeah, he was on edge. I don't know. That's what it seemed like. His character was on edge, and we find out later pretty quickly what's going on with his character, but
Yeah, and he clearly only cares about himself,
oh yeah, absolutely,
which is not
Absolutely.
a Hopper trait either. So yeah, he's not like Hopper at all. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. What did you think about the location, like the filming location and stuff of this?
It's nice, man. It's nice seeing different locations. I like stuff like this. It's a nice change of pace than seeing, New York and LA all the frickin' time. I like it. There's a lot of just the US they could be shooting movies in. I know tax breaks and blah 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 and getting permits and all that crap, but I also like seeing places I've never been. Like, I'm sure this was shot in India somewhere where I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was Ahmedabad, India, and Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Oh, nice. And so I'm sure they got a lot of the Bollywood actors to, at minimum be, extras and things and smaller parts, which is nice. It's nice bringing in another film culture into American films. I like that because their acting styles are different. Their filming and everything like that is clearly definitely different, but this is an American film, so it's just it's nice being, different, having something different somewhere else that's different, and I thought it worked out great.
Yeah. I enjoy Netflix funding some of these action movies that might not have been made, if Netflix didn't pick them up, like the Bright movie. I don't think you liked that one, Matt, very much, but I kind of liked it. The Will Smith movie.
I really liked the story. I thought the story, I wasn't a huge fan of the story. I really liked the universe that they made and everything around the universe. I thought the story was lackluster, but I'm kind of excited that they're doing a sequel to it too.
Yeah, and like Bird Box and Extraction, Six Underground. Now, Six Underground wasn't the best story, but man, Michael Bay knows how to make an action movie like visually. That movie was like so visually awesome.
Everybody loves a Bay Bang.
Yeah, hashtag Bay Bang. All right. Let's see, Matt. I need to ask you a question, Matt. What are you drinking?
Well, Mike, thanks for asking. I went and hit up the store the other day. I have lots of Guilt Lifter, and I probably should have gotten something else, but I decided not to. I am giving all my money to Four Peaks Brewing. I picked up one of their summer beers that I believe they only sell on tap and in cans. It is a Kolsch style ale known as Sunbrew.
Oh, nice.
And it is soft,
for the
subtle, and radiant.
Yeah, that's coming for the summer, man. That's nice.
Exactly. It's summertime. I wanted a more light summertime beer. Me and my lady friend were grilling the other day, and they had the Sunbrew on sale. I was like, you know what? I haven't had that in a while, and it is summertime. I'm going to get myself a nice summer beer, and it is quite light and delicious.
Nice.
All right, Mike, go ahead. Remove your koozie. Let's see what you're drinking.
All right. So, Maggie, my wife, was out shopping, and she saw a deal on a beer that she had tried before, and she was like, "Oh, we got to get that." So it was buy one get one, 6-packs, and she got this beer. It's called Golden Monkey. It's made by Victory Brewing, and it's a Belgian style triple.
Belgian style triple. Interesting. Did she wear her mask?
Oh, absolutely.
Did she wear her gloves? Dude, that looks like that's a trippy ass freaking logo, man. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't have gloves. No. Gloves are bad, man. They spread disease.
Hand sanitizer?
Sure.
Or did she just crack open a beer and pour it over her hands like, it's alcohol? That's what I would have done.
Yeah, something like that.
I saw a great meme the other day. My friend Victoria, who is as dark and twisted as I am, and I miss working with her. She was a lot of fun. She posted a meme the other day on Facebook, and it's a picture of the Hunger Games girl, doing, was it this, that symbol, right? Is that what she does?
Well, it was like the districts.
Or did she
there's like there's like the districts. Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, she was doing that little hand symbol thing she does, in the Mockingbird thing. And it's not that, but
the Mockingjay.
Yeah,
the Mockingjay.
Whatever. I'm not sure which one she does it. She probably does in the first one. And it says, and on the meme it said, when you see someone else in the store not wearing a mask. It was pretty funny. I laughed for a little while on that one. I was like, yeah, that's dark.
Nice.
It was good. All right. I'll stop. I'll get back on topic, Mike. I'll get back on topic. Thanks for keeping me in line. So, Mike.
Yeah, sorry. Not at all.
Do I get to ask my question now?
Why not?
Okay. Whew. So, Mike, how does Extraction, starring Thor, aka Chris Hemsworth, relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Oh, Matt, that is a wonderful question. I'm so glad that you asked that. And this one is one of the rare ones when I didn't have to look at all. And so, as you've said multiple times already, Chris Hemsworth plays Thor in the movie Thor, The Avengers, Thor Dark World, Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. So he's in a couple. He's in a couple of the movies.
No. I was trying to think if he made a cameo in the second Guardians.
I don't think so. I know.
I don't remember.
Thor Dark World had a cameo of Captain America.
Yeah. But, yeah, because I remember in Avengers, he goes rocking with, you know what? It might have been Ragnarok. I think the Guardians made an appearance in Thor Ragnarok is what it was. Something like that. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, so this one was very easy, and feel free for us to review as many movies starring major MCU characters as possible. It's fine with me.
Okay, so is that my job? I have to pick really easy MCU movies for you now?
No. I think talking about next movies, Matt, I was thinking about doing something fun, but I know there's other movies trending, so I don't know, man. I'm
Mike,
not.
You got time. I'm keep thinking about it. We still got to talk about Extraction.
Okay.
Think about
all
it.
Right.
We still got time. You don't need to rush. There's lots of movies. We could do like an MCU movie, and then that's like cheating.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. I'm still thinking about it, Matt. I guess why don't we go into spoilers for this movie?
Okay. So, in my opinion, the best way to describe this movie is it's a blend between John Wick, Saving Private Ryan, and Man on Fire. It's like a combination of like those three movies.
Yeah. Dude, that's a good description.
The action is very John Wick-like, especially towards the beginning of the action when he's first trying to extract the kid.
Yeah, the room scene, the room scene was very John Wicky,
right?
Or just the first. Yeah,
yeah, that whole thing, like when the cops are chasing him and he's like, popping up out of nowhere and like cutting them and doing anything and everything, throwing him off the roof, all that stuff.
I did enjoy that, a current trend that seems to be continuing, which I like. Unlike our favorite 80s and 90s movies where everyone is absolutely invincible, the main characters can be hurt and are hurt in the more recent action movies, and I enjoy seeing that because it's much more realistic. Like it's not like besides like a Terminator type thing where that's part of the story. They get shot like 5 times and they're fine, or they have like unlimited ammo but are never reloading kind of stuff. I enjoyed seeing more realistic stuff. I don't know how the ammo use on this was. I didn't see anything too crazy. It seemed like they had to reload quite a bit, but I like the more realistic take. I've loved like the action in like Atomic Blonde where the fighters got tired. I love that. Like that stuff's so real. Like they're beating the crap out of each other and then they get tired.
A movie that we were just talking about earlier, which was the last movie both of us saw in the theaters, did that. If you remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was one of the shining moments, is that the final fight scene. I mean, they're freaking exhausted by the time, someone finally kills the other person.
Yes. And that movie was called The Hunt. And I really liked that style stuff because that's realistic. Like if you're really fighting for your life, you kind of burn it out kind of quick, and who knows what's going on, and using the environment and stuff, especially in like John Wick movies. I mean, he's always grabbing whatever's around to like, the pencil, all kinds of, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like deadly weapon.
That also calls back to something they were talking about in the dialogue in John Wick as well, though. But, so here's
yeah, the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What are they? What is it called? Yeah,
Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
That was good times. I like that. It's just fun to say. Baba Yaga. So Mike, I got a question for you that just popped into my head, not planned whatsoever. So hopefully you can answer it. Why do you think Hollywood is trending more towards more realistic action films? Do you think it's the influence of John Wick, or do you think that moviegoers are just getting smarter and demanding more, or they're tired of seeing unrealistic films unless it's something sci-fi like Terminator or The Matrix?
I think it's a little bit of fatigue of seeing the same old. Like, the Die Hards, the Lethal Weapons, those are great movies. But, they're shooting, 85 bullets out of a 6-shooter. There's some problems.
Well, I'll argue a little bit on the Die Hard. I mean, just a little bit. Yes, he has unlimited ammo like most 80s and 90s action films. But in Die Hard, one of the biggest plot points was how he was barefoot, and he is injured severely because of the barefoot. And he's not invincible. He leaves blood all over the place. Granted, if I stepped on glass as much as he did, I wouldn't be walking at all. I'd be like, oh, F this. But so I'll argue a little bit in favor of Die Hard.
All right. So maybe Die Hard wasn't the best to say. Like maybe Commando.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Rambo. I don't think Rambo, the first one. What is it? It's not called The First Blood, is it?
The first Rambo
That's
is called Rambo
one.
First Blood, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I got confused with the names of Rambo, but anyway, especially the latest Rambo, man, which if you've seen is terrible.
I have not. I want to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime right now. I need to watch it
bad.
because you said it's so bad.
It's so
I need
bad.
to entertain myself with that.
Maybe we should review it just to talk how bad it is. Anyway,
hey, you still got time, Mike. We're running up on, almost the end of the pod, but you can change it. You still got time to think, sir.
All right. I don't know if I want to subject the audience to this bad movie. That's the problem. But the first Rambo was like, a lot, like it was a really good movie. I mean, they're good in different ways, but the next Rambos were more just extreme and just bullets everywhere and just action. It was very, very action focused, where the first Rambo is more like he's a drifter and like, this just going through this town, and this sheriff just messes with him. And
who, rest in peace, the actor that played him, I'm now, of course, forgetting his name, but recently passed. He
just won't let him alone, and like all John Rambo wants to do is just get on his way. He wasn't bothering nobody. Anyway,
it was a very different movie than its sequels. It was more of a true dramatic film. I mean, it was a very serious dramatic film, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was. It was like the sequels, they just couldn't resist using a character that you're somewhat familiar with and just putting him in these situations where it's like 100% action. And because you already watched the first movie, you know enough to be like, oh, okay. So like they can really cut back on the story. But I mean, that was okay. I like those movies. I mean, grew up watching them. I like them. The Predators of the world. Like, I love watching that movie. I mean, I guess the ammo stuff is okay. They run out of ammo. I don't know. It's not quite as crazy. It's like, I just recently watched Commando again. Oh man, dude, there's a scene where he's like going to take on to go get his daughter, where he should reload like 85 times and he doesn't reload like once. Yeah,
and just like in Rambo, he's holding a weapon that would be difficult for an average human being to control by themselves, hand holding, let alone wipe out like 50 people without aiming, you know? But hey, yeah, that's what those movies were. They were fun, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess if it's just like the Stormtroopers, Matt. Like, if they had better aim, there would never be a Star Wars.
Fair enough. They would be a lot more successful. All right, if you want to start talking Star Wars, I'm going to leave it alone after this. But the one that always is just pissed the hell out of me is that the Stormtroopers have these badass uniforms and armor and stuff, but yet they get shot once and they die. So why wear the armor?
Because it's a lot cheaper to get people of acting wise.
Yes, it's cheaper to pay someone that their face isn't in the movie, but damn it, Mike, they
yeah, and if they don't say anything, you don't have to pay them very much either. Like, there's all these weird rules, like part of the guild stuff.
But even so, if they're not wearing a helmet, they could aim better, and they probably would be a lot more effective. So why have the uniforms at all? I know, it's all the fucking Hollywood shit. But Mike, I love my Stormtroopers; they're awesome, but no.
All right, sorry, Matt. I basically purposely dropped that in there just to rile you up.
Of course. So I can keep going. I mean, like the clones are amazing. I mean, Clone Wars just ended the final season. It was a very satisfying ending, well worth a watch. Yes, it's a cartoon, but it is very good.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. I heard it's really good.
Very good. Watch it first and then watch Rebels. Rebels is also very good, but they do some things in Rebels that I wasn't a huge fan of. So to get back to Extraction, Mike, what do you want to spoil about it? I mean, like, okay, so why I say Saving Private Ryan is that whole final scene takes place on that bridge, and then Chris Hemsworth's character basically does what Tom Hanks's character does in Saving Private Ryan. He sacrifices himself so the younger person can live.
Yeah, I actually was thinking also that it was Saving Private Ryan-esque in the save a person kind of.
Yeah.
Like the point of this movie is to extract this child or teenager, preteen, I don't know, teenager character from the bad guys to the good guys. I see, Man on Fire because it's somewhat that kind of plot as well, except with Man on Fire, which I love that movie because it's very revenge oriented. He just goes and
your revenge.
Yeah, he just goes and hunts everyone down. In this movie, he's not really hunting people down as much as he's trying to protect so it's more of the first part of Man on Fire, where he's trying to protect the kid.
What I didn't get is like this takes place in India. I don't know if they ever say it's supposed to be India in the film, but it seems like it's like an entire town that's surrounded by a river that's run by this one gangster, and he rules the whole thing. Where's the government on this? Yes, clearly he's paying off the police and the military and all that stuff that's in the town, but where's the rest of it? India is a very large country with a, I think, somewhat stable military. So that might be really, really unrealistic, a gangster running a whole town. But again, there are gangsters not gangsters, but cartels that run entire large cities down in Mexico. So maybe it's drawing parallels from that.
Yeah, no, maybe it is. I don't know.
That's just my, inability to know more about India, I guess you would say. I just don't know.
Yeah, I do like that these movies are, like you said earlier, being filmed in different locations, like besides just, London, New York, LA, I guess, let's see, anywhere else that's real big? I don't know. Everything's in Georgia, partly because of tax credits, or Canada.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. But, all right, Mike, well, should we do it? Should we stop talking about Extraction and give people our numbers?
Yes, let's do it, man.
All right, Mike, I guess I'll go first since I said it and I brought it up, so that means I'm damned with it. Let's see if we can make it 7 since COVID that we agree on. Jesus, dude. Maybe we're both just sick in the head. I mean, at least we didn't agree on what the hell was that? Gosh, what episode was that? It wasn't American Pie. It was the one before American Pie. Code 8. Code 8 we didn't agree on, right?
No, yeah, we did not agree on Code 8. Finally.
All right, so Mike, I give Extraction 3.5 out of 5 reels.
Okay. Very good, man.
I think it was good. It's good. It's worth a watch if you're an action fan or a Chris Hemsworth fan, but it's not a must-see. It's definitely something that I'm glad it was put on Netflix so people could get out there and see it, but if it was in the theaters, I don't think it would have been successful.
Yeah. I'm going to give this one 2.5 reels.
2.5? Wow.
It's okay. The action is the best part of this movie. And like you said, Matt, I'm glad they put it on Netflix because it might not have done as well in the theaters. But talking about theaters and stuff and doing as well, I really wonder. So with theaters and the box office and stuff, we kind of have a clear model. We kind of know that the theater makes some money, the movie studios make some money, there's some distribution costs and things. But when Netflix makes a movie, we don't know how much it costs. I mean, I think IMDb has some estimates and stuff, but we don't really know how much a movie costs. And then if let's say 70 million people watch it, is that worthwhile? I always wonder, I love Netflix, but the way that they make money is so different that it's hard to break up us streaming it and telling you to stream it. How does that help them? I
think it's all about selling subscriptions. So the better movies, the more subscriptions you get, maybe? I don't know, but I mean, honestly, all the people I know, for the most part, that have Netflix, they pay for it outright. I only know a handful of people that I guess you would call streaming steal. They use someone else's account. But most of the people I know, they just flat out pay for it.
Yeah, I just wonder, obviously certain movies that they've released are The Bright, I think, was fairly well watched. Bird Box was definitely well watched.
Yeah, Bird Box was huge. This one they were saying was going to be like one of their biggest movies ever, and I think it did fine, but it's not in their top 10 anymore.
Yeah, Extraction, is a big one. Six Underground, but I mean, part of the reason that these are big is they highlight them a lot, and then they have big name stars in them. You got your Sandra Bullock, your Will Smith, your Chris Hemsworth, Ryan Reynolds. So it's like all these big stars, and that's fine. Like I just wonder what is viewed as a success on Netflix versus how the box office is kind of like simple to understand, and Netflix is like complicated.
Yeah, well, it's because Netflix doesn't have to be transparent because they do it all themselves. They don't have to tell anybody shit. So if, me and you are the only people that watch Extraction, they're not going to tell anybody that.
Yeah, no, you're right. They don't have to tell anybody anything. But I mean, the subscriptions go to feed what content is made, and then they make certain content, and then I know that's supposed to drive more subscriptions. And I don't know if it drives more subscriptions or just holds people on it. Obviously, I've been a Netflix member since 2005, so I've been in there for a while.
I have been a member longer than you?
Yeah, I think so, man.
How's that possible? Because I mean, I've been a member of Netflix since. Well, you probably didn't get it at the dorm, and you lived in the dorms longer than I did. I signed up for Netflix my either sophomore or junior year of college, and I've never stopped, ever.
No. Yeah, no. No, I've had Netflix. I signed up in 2005 for the DVD service, and have been a customer ever since. One time I called customer service because the streaming broke. This is a while back when they were migrating onto Amazon Web Services, and they were having some issues, and the guy was like looking at it, and he's total surfer California accent. He's like, "Whoa, man, you've been a customer for a long time."
Well, yeah.
I was like,
honestly,
nice.
I would have to look, but I think I have been a member of Netflix since at least 2002, maybe 2003.
Dude, wow,
that's 18 years.
Dude, you might have got it. You might have got it right at launch. I think that might have been right when it started.
It was pretty close to launch. Yeah, it was pretty close to launch. Because I got it, I paid for it, and you got 3 DVDs in the mail, and I thought that was the greatest thing on earth. And then I remember we didn't even have any distribution hubs in Arizona yet. I would get the disc from like California, and then one day all of a sudden the return address was Phoenix. I was like, "Oh yes, this is great! I'm gonna get these from Phoenix. I'm gonna get them so much faster now," and it like changed my life.
I thought it was a brilliant idea. I still think it was a brilliant idea. I somewhat miss going to a Blockbuster every once in a while, but Blockbuster just they cost too much, man. They blew it. They really just blew it. Like when they tried to make their Blockbuster online, they did it in such a weird way, in a convoluted way. It just didn't work. And some people were working its system so hard that it wasn't working, and it was bad.
R.I.P. Hastings. I liked my Blockbuster runs, but it was all about Hastings. Go ahead, Mike. Pour one out for Hastings.
Hastings was awesome, but it was only in smaller markets, Matt. So a lot of people who didn't live in smaller towns probably have no idea what we're talking about. But Hastings was a book media.
It was a media outlet of everything: books, magazines, music,
CDs,
vinyl, video games, toys,
software. But that went away.
Yeah, they phased that out eventually.
But for a little while, they sold like PC games and operating systems. Yep. They sold like Windows and stuff for a while.
I think I bought Windows 98 there, maybe.
You might have, man.
But R.I.P. Hastings. I miss you. We miss you dearly. I mean, I still, to the day ours shut down here in Prescott, I still shop there. I didn't rent anything, but I bought like comic books and regular books and magazines and music from there. I didn't rent any movies.
Somewhat of a mashup of like a Best Buy and like a books, Barnes and Noble kind of, because it's like a lot of like books and media, like reading things, but then also lots of video and then like rentals and selling of things, but no like real tech stuff. Some tech things, but like very like just nothing like TVs and like computers and stuff. But I don't know. Yeah, so it's kind of like a mix of those two in some ways.
That's just what I was going to say, is they didn't sell any of the tech stuff. So, I mean, it's like a Barnes & Noble on steroids. It's just a media hub, you know, a media outlet, and everybody hung out there. I mean, if we weren't buying and renting stuff, people would just hang out there and check stuff out. I mean, I remember in high school, but you know, enough about that, Mike. We've talked about Hastings before. We love Hastings. It was all right. It was a good spot.
Yep.
So Mike, we're running a little long here, and so I've given you extra time to think about what movie you want to review for next week, because it is your choice. I picked Extraction. So what movie, pray tell, Mysterious Mike Talent, are we talking about next week?
All right, Matt. So been thinking about this a lot. I think with the current times that are going on, I think it's good that we watch a fun movie, a feel-good movie. I think we should watch
Man on Fire?
No. I think we should watch Back to the Future, which is streaming on Netflix. Actually, Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 are streaming on Netflix. But I figure we'll just pick one, unless you want... Matt, do you want to do all three? Kind of like a huge
review? Do you know how long that freaking podcast would be?
All right. We'll do Back to the Future 1, just because, you know, it's a fun movie, and I feel like people, you know, myself included, like I really miss going out and doing anything. So, let's watch a good movie, a fun movie to watch, and nothing too serious, nothing too much dramatic.
Well, the other suggestion I would think we could do is we can just commit right now, and the next 3 podcasts will be Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3.
Will that align with our...
And we just knock all 3 of them out right now.
With that movie that we were talking about before the pod?
Oh, hell no.
The Disney Plus exclusive?
Oh, hell no. Because this would come out next week. I mean, this would come out this week, duh. Back to the Future will come out next week. Back to the Future 2 would come out the week after that. And then... Hold on. Let me go to the next month. Actually, you know what? It would align. Because Back to the Future 3 would come out the week, whatever that Disney one is you want to do, it would come out that week. Because it comes out June 12th.
All right. So for the listeners, it's Artemis Fowl is the movie that...
I don't remember that. It's a weird-ass name, dude. I'm sorry.
In a few weeks. But it's not out yet. And it's coming out to Disney Plus, but originally it was supposed to be a theater release, so we will touch on some of that controversy in the next few pods, I think.
So it's up to you, Mike. We can discuss it, but we're definitely doing Back to the Future the original, but it could be just our summer Back to the Future retrospective.
Well, that would be fun, man.
And I love me some Back to the Future.
Oh, man, me too. They're such great movies. So much fun.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the next pod, where our final, not our final. What the hell am I thinking? Sorry. We'll talk about it on our next pod, where we review the first Back to the Future 1, or just Back to the Future from 1984.
8, I think.
That's right. The friggin' movie takes place in 84.
Let me double check.
Now I feel like an idiot because I don't know this.
85.
Okay, I was close. I was going back and forth. It was either 84 or 85. Anyways, okay, so let's do that. Next week, Back to the Future, the original, currently streaming on Netflix. But of course, like a true film nerd, I don't need it because I have the 30th anniversary trilogy on Blu-ray.
That's wonderful, Matt. That's wonderful.
So I'm a nerd. And you have access to my digital download, so you could watch it that way as well.
I should compare the streams versus Netflix.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Just fire them all up at once. Have like 3 Back to the Futures going at the same time.
I could. It'd be weird, but I could.
Give you something to do.
Yeah. Let's see how the internet handles that.
Take that, Sparklight. All right, Mike, we've gone way over time, but it was fun. It was good times. We had some interesting conversations. If you don't like our interesting conversations and all you want to hear is us just talk about movies, let us know. Write us an email, and we will ignore it.
All right. On that note, I think we should wrap this up. So thanks, everybody, for listening. And like Matt said, we'd love to hear some feedback. Catch us at all the socials, and we will catch you next week to review Back to the Future.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now go out and catch a movie.
I have a feeling it's a film nerd on the line on Magic 99.1. Am I right?
Of course you are.
Good morning, Matt Hinshaw. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you doing this beautiful morning, Lisa?
You know, I cannot complain. Nobody would listen anyway, so why bother, right?
I don't know about that. You have a lot of people listening right now, so.
Well, I have nothing to complain about, as a matter of fact. So I'm glad you called in. Do you have anything to complain about?
The list is so long, it would take forever. So we'll just skip it, and we'll just talk about movies today.
Okay. Smart. Wicked smart. What are we talking about?
Well, I watched it. You told me you were going to watch it. I don't know if you did.
I didn't. I played so much golf, Matt. I just didn't have the time to watch. So tell us all about it.
What's it like being a fancy pants golf person?
It's not so bad.
Not so bad, especially right now, right?
That's exactly right.
Nice and empty, warm outside.
It's beautiful, just beautiful. So while you were sitting inside, what were you watching?
I watched Thor, a.k.a. Chris Hemsworth's latest film, Extraction.
And what did you think?
I thought it was all right. It wasn't bad.
Good.
It's action-packed. The story is a little lackluster. It's kind of like a combination between like Saving Private Ryan and like John Wick and maybe even almost Michael Bay-ish. It's if you're into action flicks, this is a good one to watch. You'll really enjoy it. But again, the story's kind of rough. It's not a terrible story. It's just not. I don't know. It's if anyone has seen Man on Fire, it's very much kind of like Man on Fire in a way, but not nearly as good.
Okay, so they're really relying on the action to bring people in and keep them interested.
Yes, and it is fantastic. There's one particular scene you can look up how they shot it on YouTube and everywhere where I believe it was the director. It might have been just the director of photography actually sat on the roof of a car as it chased around another car to get the right shots that he wanted. And that scene is hands down the best scene in this movie. It is incredible.
Oh, it sounds awesome. Now, Netflix says that they think that this movie will surpass any other viewing record of any of their other originals.
I've heard that. I don't know if it will, but I mean, there's maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Depends how much people really like action. I mean, Michael Bay did that one I reviewed a few months ago. I'm blanking on the name, but it was a heck of a lot more action than this. It's a lot bigger name. I mean, Sam Hargrave is the director of this film, and he's pretty well known. And Joe Russo was involved with doing the screenwriting. He's pretty well known, and then Chris Hemsworth, obviously.
Yeah.
But outside of that, there's not like a whole lot of big name stars in this film.
Okay.
But maybe that's enough. I don't know. I mean, again, the action is great, but the story's just okay. So I don't know. I mean, I could see it doing well, but
we'll have to see.
Their best ever? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. They've had some good stuff. So
how many reels are you going to give it this morning?
I'm going with 3.5.
3.5 out of 5 reels. Okay, so
Yeah.
watch it if you have some time, but don't call in sick just to watch this movie.
No. If you don't have anything else kind of going on, or you're a huge action fan or a big Chris Hemsworth fan, definitely watch it.
Okay.
Because he does a fantastic job, and he doesn't hide his accent in this. He's supposed to be Australian, which
Very
is cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Again, it's Extraction on Netflix. You guys can catch Matt on his very own podcast. It's called The Real Film Nerds. And thank you for calling in this morning on Magic.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.